Hello Renee, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your new white sewing machine. And this is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. And in this test we're going to go over the basic operation of the machine just as a tutorial or a brush up if you need it. We'll show you how to thread the machine, how to wind the bobbin, how to work the various controls. And this will be your foot control. After I make this video, I'm going to take it apart and repaint it. So it's, I'll probably paint it a white to match the a little bit of hint of blue in there. I don't know if I have that color. I'll probably just paint it a nice ivory white. But anyway, it'll look nicer than it does now. So without further ado, let's wind the bobbin. See if I can do this without knocking my camera askew. This is your tension assembly on the face here. This is your presser foot pressure control. That's how hard the presser foot presses on the fabric. This is your feed drop that drops the teeth of the feed dog so that you can move the fabric yourself for like machine embroidery or darning or patching or whatever. This is your stitch length and your reverse. This is your bobbin winder over here. And this is what we're going for right now. It's your bobbin winder. So you'll find your bobbin below the slide plate in the bobbin case. And as long as you're holding that little latch that you use to take it out, your bobbin's not going to drop out. But when you're ready to take it out, you just let go of that little latch and your bobbin comes out. And I'll pull off this red thread that's on there. There's not very much. I'm not a big fan of winding over the top of old thread anyway. It almost never gets used. So to wind a bobbin, you put your spool on the lower spool pin down here. This is your bobbin winder spool. And this is your bobbin winder tension. You put your thread between the discs of the bobbin winder tension. You come up to the bobbin. And before we put the bobbin on, it's easiest to put a few wraps on now before it's in place, just to hold the thread in place while the bobbin winds. Then with the thread going on over the top, this way, from front to back over the top, slide it onto the bobbin winder and turn the rubber tire until the little keeper pin on the side of the bobbin winder shaft slips into one of the holes, and take up a little bit of slack that's on there. Declutch your machine by turning the chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel towards you at 1/8 of a turn or so. You'll feel it hit its stop. And then you're ready to sew. Ready to wind a bobbin. So give it a little gas. Oh, one other minor thing. Push where it says push, and the rubber tire goes up against the hand wheel, which turns it. And this little finger drops into the bobbin, and as the bobbin fills, it pushes this little finger up till when the bobbin's full, it pops it loose, so it stops winding and doesn't make a snarly mess all over. So push that down. Now we're ready to wind the bobbin. Don't need to go fast. And that should be plenty for our test. So pop that little finger up, And that releases the bobbin winder from the hand wheel. Retighten the chrome knob in the center of your hand wheel. Now your bobbin goes in the bobbin case with the thread coming off the top in this direction. Then guide the thread into this little slanted slot on the side and up under that flat leaf spring, which is your lower tension, until you feel a little click. It clicks into place. Now holding that latch again, and with this little thumb pointing up so it goes into its slot. Slide it onto the shaft in the center of the hook. Make sure that that finger goes into its little cutout and that the bobbin case is in snug, not going to slip out. Now we're ready to thread the machine. So put your spool on the spool pin, go into the curly thread guide on the front here, down between the discs of the tension assembly, all the way around to the top, and go into that little hook at the top there. And then go back down and catch the anyway, the little thin spring here. Check spring, thank you, that's what I was looking for. From the check spring, go through the take-up lever, the little thing that goes up and down. Make sure you're not wrapped around anything you don't want to be. Into the thread guide on the faceplate. Down to the thread guide on the thread guide on the needle bar, and then through the needle from the front towards the back, from the left towards the right, from the inside and from the outside towards the inside. And you're threaded. Holding your thread loosely, turn the hand wheel towards you one full revolution, and the needle will take the thread down, where the hook will pick it up and wrap it around the bobbin and bring up your lower thread. There's our lower thread. Always the hand wheel turns towards you. Put the thread between the toes of the presser foot and you are ready to sew. Let's see, here's a nice piece of denim. Lower the presser foot onto the fabric using the lever in the back. Always, by the way, when you're putting in or out the bobbin case, make sure your needle is up out of the needle hole, or it'll get in the way when you try to push your bobbin case in. As I mentioned earlier, this is your stitch length. From the zero position in the center here, going down, your stitches get longer and longer and longer and longer until your longest stitches are at the very bottom. In reverse, you go up from the 0 point, and your stitches again get longer and longer and longer until your longest reverse stitches are at the very top. So we're going to set it at about 2. That's a good average stitch length for regular thread and regular fabric. Your feed drop has 3 settings. It has normal, silk, and darning. Normal is where you want to be for normal sewing. Silk is if you're sewing a delicate fabric and you don't want the teeth of the feed dogs to come up and really dig into the fabric so it doesn't make marks on it. And all the way to darn drops the feed dog's so far down that they never come up above the needle plane. They never touch your fabric. But again, that's for machine embroidery or something where you want to move the fabric yourself. So I'm going to take this back to the normal position. Your tension, when I rebuild a machine, I usually set it so that the average tension for average fabric and thread is around 3. This one just kind of came that way. Where did it? I don't remember if I set it on there or if that's where it originally was, but 3 is your ballpark for regular sewing. For heavier or lighter fabric, you may need to turn it up or down just a smidge, but again, just a little bit at a time until your stitch on the top and your stitch on the bottom look even. So it looks like we're ready to sew, so we'll give it a little gas and away we sew. Give it a little longer stitch length. Reverse. Forward. Reverse. Forward. Okay, yeah, this big knob on the side here is your light switch. It's funny, that's where the tension assembly is on a lot of machines. That's a really big switch, but hey, it's cool. This is an awesome machine, by the way. So that's your light. Well, this we didn't mention. When you're doing machine embroidery or just drawing pictures, whatever, where you're moving the fabric yourself instead of the feed dogs moving them, you put your feed dogs in the darn position and you press down this little collar on the pressure foot adjuster, and that pops this center core up, and that releases all of the pressure on the foot. So now the feed dogs are not moving the fabric, and there's no pressure holding the fabric down against the bed of the machine, or at least minimal pressure. Now you can move the fabric yourself. When you're ready to go back to regular sewing, push the center of the pressure foot adjuster about halfway down roughly, and turn your feed dog control back to normal. You should oil your machine after every 8 to 16 hours of sewing. So if you sew 4 hours today and 2 hours tomorrow, it's going to be a while before you need to oil it. But if you're sewing all day long, every day, you may need to oil every day. And in that case, you just put 1 or 2 drops in each of the oil holes, and you look on the bottom for anything that moves when you turn the hand wheel. And every place that metal moves against metal is going to get a drop of oil. These little hinge pin points here and here, the oil hole here, hinge pin, not hinge pin, needle pin, needle bearing. It's called the cup and needle bearing. It's got a pointy needle that goes into an indentation on the shaft. And where those two meet, it wants a drop of oil there, a drop of oil there, a drop of oil on each of these eccentric cams that move your the forks back and forth. So inside that fork on the cam, there's another oil hole here, oil on this little block that slides up and down in the in that fork. Just look for anywhere where metal moves against metal, and at that junction it takes a drop of oil. You take off your faceplate. You can probably just loosen the top and bottom screws a little bit and then slide it up and off. And do the same thing, turn your hand wheel and watch for parts that move. And on the back there's an inspection plate that you can take off and reach a few more parts in there that move. Your motor has an oil hole here and an oil hole on the other end, this little tiny hole here. You can put one drop in it about every 2 or 3 times that you oil the machine. If you get too much oil in there, it smokes and stinks. You don't want that. When you oil, you can also take off the needle plate. There are a screw here and a screw here. You just lift off this needle plate and you can brush out the lint and dust that collect around the feed dogs. That's about it. I can't think of anything more to tell you about this machine. I'll get her packed up and I'll get the foot control painted, and then we'll get her off to you. And again, thank you so much. We appreciate you supporting what we do. This is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. That's stagecoachroadsewing.com.